one of the regular viewers from this channel, Psyche W, has asked to have a slightly closer look at the Justice League books. So I've picked out the volumes from the DC collection that I've got that relate to the Justice League, and it really starts with the Justice League from the New 52, and to get why they're starting out, you kind of have to have read Flashpoint. You don't have to have read Flashpoint. You can just get started straight away with Justice League Origin. However, Flashpoint explains why nobody can remember anyone else, why these relationships, which have been going on since the 1930s, are so fresh, right, in the New 52. Flashpoint completely resets the whole DC universe. There's been a shift in time, and a new timeline has been created by the Flash, and that is pretty much what launches the New 52. Now this, the Justice League Volume 1 Origin by Geoff Johns, is just outstanding. The truth is, anything written by Geoff Johns is something that I can get behind. I have never ever been disappointed by anything that Geoff Johns has written. It's always extraordinary. It's always very, very involving, very human, very very exciting as well, and easy to access, and anything, but without forgetting the long time fans either. So there's always service to to those who've been following since the very early days, but without ever leaving the new readers behind. It's always absolutely fantastic. Now, a lot of the material from Wonder Woman, the movie, came from right here, came from this very book. You might recognize some of the humor from the lines inside. That's not to say that this is the same story. It's a completely separate story, but a lot of the character moments from that movie are taken from here. So that's really what started Justice League in the New 52. This is the second volume, just continuing that same story. I've then put all of these, because I didn't want to get them out of order. These are all the Batmans from New 52. It's a fantastic run, Batman, by the way, but completely unrelated. And this is where it becomes related once again. Now, the Aquaman run is also written by Geoff Johns. It's in 4 issues, and you can either get these 4 issues on Aquaman, or you can get Justice League Volume 3. Now, the reason why I've got these 4 Aquaman volumes instead is because, in fact, the Aquaman story from the New 52 is one of the best things that has come out of the New 52. In fact, the film is that was very successful, that came out earlier this year. I think it was in January 2019. Was pretty much based on these 4 volumes. It's very well written. It's written from the point of view of an Aquaman who's very aware that he's not a very popular superhero. In the very beginning of the book, he's facing kids saying that they're not particularly interested in getting his autograph. Isn't he the one who talks to fish, etc., etc. Geoff Johns does here what he's so good at, which is to take a superhero that has become irrelevant and gives him new life. It's fantastic, absolutely great. The art is great as well, and the story is gripping, and as a 4-part story, it works very well. If in my opinion, if you get nothing else from the New 52 series, that one on Aquaman is what you should go with. Then there's Volume 4 of Justice League, The Grid. Probably, in my opinion, my least favorite of the volumes. It's a story setup. I mean, it's still of outstanding quality, of course. It's just that it's the weakest of all the extremely strong issues of the Justice League. And directly following that, and kind of the reason why you might want to read that, is that it leads into this fantastic story, Trinity War. I got this as a hardcover because it's such a strong story. I mean, this is where it starts to get really, really epic, and you start to realize what scale Geoff Johns is working on. The scale of the story is enormous, and it's so well written, and it's so involving, so gripping. Strong recommendation. This is all stuff that is kind of important to have read to be able to understand some of the stuff that goes on in Rebirth, which is the current story arc in the DC Universe. Okay. So that's Justice League Trinity War. Then there's Shazam. This was a one-off trade paperback. It's a one-off story. It's basically what the film Shazam was based on. Once again, Geoff Johns working his magic. You may have noticed what a lot of Geoff Johns has been appearing here. Then following that, there's Forever Evil, another fantastic story where Lex Luthor has to step up his game, and the future of the universe depends on him actually doing the right thing. He does the right thing, and of course it goes straight to his head. I've put these all over these so that so that anyone picking them up from my collection will know what to read next. They're not always in exactly the right order, so I've put these to help readers navigate between the issues. Here we go. So this is another Batman issue, which is not related to the main arc, but this is where it fits in terms of the storyline, more or less. Then we have issue number 5, which is Forever Heroes. It's a sister volume to Forever Evil. This is what's happening on the sidelines. You can see, do not read until you've read the first 2 parts of Forever Evil, then come back here, read part 1 of Justice League Forever Heroes, then alternate between the 2 volumes until the end. Okay, so just so that you know, those this is the main story, and then this is little bits to fit in between to get the full story. Then you got issue number 6, which is really the run-up to the Darkside War, which is the culmination of the New 52 Justice League story arc. This is the one where the art is inconsistent. Some of the art is just what you would expect, and some of the art is absolutely awful. Yes, I remember it. I remember this one. Look at that. Look how bad that is. Yeah, it doesn't happen a lot, but yes, there's this one issue in particular which is just horrific, and then it goes. I don't know. It must have been the main artist's week off or whatever, and he got in his 14-year-old nephew to cover for him or something. This is the culmination. It's Darkside War Part 1. It's where it all really kicks off, and what you thought couldn't possibly get any more epic just blows the roof off and becomes just so much fun. Then there is Superman: The Men of Tomorrow. Again, kind of important to fit in between Darkside War Part 1 and Darkside War Part 2, which is all the way down here. It's important to have read this, Men of Tomorrow, because this is where the death of Superman begins. Then there is this Superman, Lois and Clark, where another Superman comes in, and the idea of the heroes starting to become aware of this alternate timeline that started in Flashpoint starts to become apparent. So this other Superman has been living in the shadows. This Superman from this other dimension. So that's kind of really vital stuff to understand, to be able to grasp what's going on over there. Then there is the Darkside War, Power of the Gods. Now these are one-shots from each of the heroes, where each hero represents various divine powers. They receive these various powers through various means, so these are the little one-shots that explore those characters and those situations for those characters. And then finally the Darkside War Part 2, the final outcome, the huge, massive final battle where the Justice League take on Darkseid himself. I won't spoil what the outcome of that is. Followed by, and this is really an afterthought, it's the final days of Superman. So after the conclusion of the Darkside War Part 2, Superman of the New 52 universe realizes that he's declining, and he needs a replacement. And it's a very emotional story, actually, very, very sad, very gripping, and it's Peter Tomasi who heads that story. And that's really the final chapter before this DC Universe Rebirth. This is the deluxe edition. I have the first printing of the actual comic issue. This is what leads into the Watchmen Doomsday Clock, the sequel to the Watchmen, where the Watchmen and the DC Universe intersect. And that's really the beginning of the Rebirth universe. This is where the timeline from before the New 52 starts to get back in and starts to reappear and the heroes have to make sense of that. So there we go. That's my new 52 run on the Justice League with a couple of tangents. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you liked it, and see you very soon. Bye.